What are adult tantrums? Adult tantrums are really important, and once you learn about adult tantrums, you can't ever not see them again. You begin to see them everywhere in the world. You're going to start to see them in yourself. You're going to start to see them in your relationships. You're going to start to see them at the checkout person in the grocery store, the person who is driving and just aggressively driving. Adult tantrums are everywhere. And again, adult tantrums are happening due to these early childhood wounds to bring attention to it so that we could fully release and process that stuck energy. So adult tantrums, they're the same as a child tantrum because the adult is still stuck in childhood. In a sense, they're in the unhealthy representation of the inner child. They're manifesting as the child that was not seen, was not heard, does not feel they belong. This is the result of not receiving what the child needed. And so essentially, the child is tantruming. The adult child is tantruming. It's the wounded inner child crying out for attention. And if you actually watch any 4-year-old or 5-year-old have a tantrum, they're kicking, they're screaming, they're throwing things, and it could be a little bit of a nuisance at times. Now imagine that 4-year-old and a 5-year-old as a 45-year-old. It can be dangerous. It can be dangerous at 4 or 5, but you can see how this process does not just stop, it continues. And obviously, it's a desire for the repressed emotions to be expressed. It's a desire to complete that process and to self-actualize. And the tantrums don't stop, of course. So what happens if tantrums are not resolved? Well, I think we see this quite a bit. The triggers repeat, and they will increase until the original wound is processed. The tantrums will not stop. It's as if we can't bypass these tantrums. They're going to come up. We can repress how we feel, which I think is what happens a lot of the times. I think a lot of the times these tantrums are happening quite a bit because of the repression of the emotions. Like, we don't want to feel that. We don't want to see that. And a lot of times that's a trauma response. However, we can't do anything about that. We're still going to experience it. So the failure to recognize it can actually lead to some debilitating circumstances. In extreme cases, we can see mental health and physical health ailments because, yeah, the physical is absolutely connected to this. How we are in our body and our minds is all connected. So we do see that if we do not honor these triggers, if we do not honor these repressed emotions, we will actually have physical and mental health challenges. And, obviously, the whole point of these tantrums is not to keep somebody stuck, but to move and process the energy so that the individual can reach a healthy sense of self. Problem is, unless we are aware of why we're tantruming, unless there's awareness and consciousness of the energy of why it's happening, where it's coming from, who is actually tantruming, because a lot of the times it's not the 45-year-old adult, it's the 5-year-old. Unless we're aware of that, nothing happens and they continue.